What advice would you give to someone starting out looking to land their first full-time contract?
Yeah, obviously taking opportunities to coach. So I was lucky enough where I was teaching, so I had afternoons free, had sort of no kids with my wife at that stage, and using previous context within the game, still obviously did everything like for free or went along and volunteered all my time. And it was 2 or 3 afternoons a week. And I volunteered for development tours and weeks away at that developmental level. If you can spread your wings a little bit and see other sports, meet other coaches, build connections, they're always going to come back to sort of help you. And I think that's probably an undersold point within S&C in general. Like, you never know some of those development level positions and the people you work with, the connections you have, more so on the coaching side, that coaches progress as well. And if you've made a positive impression on those coaches, then you might get a phone call or an opportunity might come up again in the future.
How do you sort of review, or when you reflect on a preseason, how do you sort of come away with it was a successful preseason?
So in terms of like general things, like I think most performance departments would target over preseason is first one to be player confidence. So you want to build player confidence in their physical state. You want them to have high confidence that they're ready for game demands. Secondly is obviously your progression of all your different capacities without going into loads of detail around running fit, wrestle fit, off the ground fit. You want to run fast. You want to do it often. You want to build numbers, strength and power wise in the gym. Another one is obviously training completion. So the players to make all these physical gains, to spend time with coaches, to get better as footballers from a performance department perspective, you want to keep them on the field. The fourth one is something that's probably I put a lot of importance on over in probably the last 3 or 4 years is moving better, whether that's change of direction, game-specific agility, speed-wise, posture-wise. Are they moving better as footballers? And then last one, the performance department and your support staff. Ultimately, you're there to support the head coach. Both myself and the rest of the performance team, we play a huge role in that. So, yeah, I know they're pretty general, but yeah, there's probably some key targets going into a preseason which you can judge your performance team on.
What's your sort of stance on developing movement efficiency?
First of all, you got to build the capacities to do it. So movement efficiency to me is game specific. Some of your elite teams within the NRL, they come off reduced preseasons and they're fit, they dominate other teams. I think a lot of the time is because I heard Lachlan Pepfold talk about this about pre-Christmas around synchronicity of movement. So it's not that they're low, it's they're running ground-based, wrestle-wise. They move better and movement as a sort of synchronous unit within their team. They all know their roles and they all know how to move to get to space or do their role at those key parts of the game. And that's key in terms of involving coaches. So if you look across the preseason, where in those first 3 to 4 weeks from a performance department perspective, you're looking at building both in the gym and in the field, the tools and exercises to be able to handle these movement drills.
Yeah. And the video analysis for coaches that haven't applied this before, is that just simply getting out your phone, or are you setting up a tripod, or is that the drone performance analyst sort of cutting up vision? What's some of your tips?
It's one of the benefits of obviously working at elite level. Everything's droned and everything's there to be clipped. It's normally cut up individuals. And from a performance perspective, everyone's got access to those clips. And coaches may see something where there's a missed tackle or there's a misread or he just doesn't get his foot to the tackle. We've got an environment where ideally coaches are coming to performance staff around individuals, and then the individual, like the performance staff, as you mentioned before, might be grabbing those individuals after training to do 1 or 2 little drills to make sure that their feet's under their body and they're moving correctly. And that will continue sort of across the preseason. So yeah, it's a real sort of team method and promotes really strong relationships between coaches and performance staff that can be really meaningful if you get it right.
And obviously it's context specific, but generally speaking, how actually you trying to empower athletes to drive their own preparation for a session and obviously lifestyle habits and things like that?
Obviously it depends on your group where they're at, your leaders within your group, how many young guys you got within a group. Ultimately, like some of the sort of resilience literature which everyone's trying to create through a preseason. You're trying to create resilience within your group to handle physical loads and footy pressure, those environments, which is high challenge, high support. So they know you're going to keep challenging them, but they know you're all in to support them with whatever knowledge or whatever role you play within a performance department. You're there to help them, and you allocate time for individual conversations. If someone wants to work on this, then you might give them 2 or 3 extra things within the gym session just to make them feel like, I care for you. I want you to get what you want out of this football season, that I'm going to do some little things that are going to help you feel that. So, yeah, I really like that mantra of high challenge, high support.